Hi, my name is Eric Allaman, and what you've probably been listening to is a selection from my new CD entitled Berlin Diary. Berlin Diary is a collection of piano compositions that I actually composed about 25, 27 years ago while I lived in West Berlin, Germany, behind the Iron Curtain back in those days. And in the meantime, I've been earning my living as a film and TV composer, and what became important to me is because I've been scoring film and television for 25 years, and you're always hired to do music for other people and other projects and the various needs of a film or a TV show. And so I came upon this stuff just recently, and I realized this was really who I was back at this time in history, and that I had let this stuff sort of just sit idly on the back burner forever. And so I wanted to release these compositions, and I felt they really warranted being released. So they're really basically a diary of my time in West Germany, of the people I met and the culture that I lived in, and that era of the Cold War, which is now gone. It's basically the story of my life and the people who changed my life really forever. See, for me, music has always been an emotional experience. I started playing the piano when I was about 7 years old, and when I played early compositions like Bach pieces and pieces from Mozart and Handel, for example, I felt a real natural connection to some of these pieces emotionally. And as I started to continue to grow up and continue to play the piano, the emotional experience of music is what I became more interested in. For some people, like a lot of musicians and composers, they're fascinated by harmony or counterpoint or rhythmic aspects of music, and some people are just purely into the beauty of melody. But for me, it was really became an important thing to express myself emotionally. Even when I was in high school, this became very important, and later in college, that I work out all this stuff that I had inside of me that was bottled up, and music became a way for me to do that. I've always felt that with this pursuit of emotion, that in some ways I've always felt a little bit more like a poet, because I felt like some of the poets that I really admire, like Yeats and Keats and Neruda, they wrote such romantic material that really harnessed incredible sentiments and emotion with no music, just literally just words. So for me, I became a composer who wanted to capture that kind of emotion in music. I mean, love and loneliness and solitude and anger and frustration. And I feel like the composers, for example, like Beethoven and Chopin, and for that matter, Tchaikovsky and Wagner, really excelled at this. And even in modern music, I really admired how Led Zeppelin did this, and the Beatles. You know, it's been said that creators were all creative people are basically trying to tell one story over and over and over again in their lives. I think Alan Silvestri said that about composers, and it's an interesting point, because if you think that every time you sit down to compose a piece, you're trying to express yourself in a way you feel like you've never done it appropriately. You're trying to do it again and see if you can do it another way. I've felt that that's the signature that you find in people's music. For example, in Beethoven's music or Mozart's music, or whether it is Led Zeppelin or the Beatles, you feel and hear the signature immediately. So I have been really excited about trying to harness that in my music and capture emotion and the intrinsic feelings that I felt of what went into the composition at that time.